So hi everyone, Rosie here again from the yoga studio in Bude. I thought I'd do a little bit of kind of meditation session, just a short one. Sometimes it's nice to just have a break during our day. Please let me know how it feels for you. So what you may want to do is put on some nice music on the background if you want to, or maybe find a quiet space in your house where there's no noise at all. Sometimes that's much easier. So find a comfortable sitting position, or of course please know that you can do this lying down as well, whichever works for you. I'm doing mine sitting up. So whenever you do find that position, whether it is lying down on the floor, knees bent, maybe arms out by the side, maybe you're going to bring your hands onto your belly. If you're seated like I am, find that you're sitting right back into the chair. You could be sitting on the floor, leaning up against the wall or the sofa maybe. But if you're sitting on a chair, then make sure that the feet are nicely grounded. You can feel that the ankles are below the knees directly. The thighs are parallel. So if maybe your chair is a bit high, you may want to put something underneath your feet to lift them up so you feel that everything is comfortable, grounded and aligned. Where do you put your hands? Wherever you want them to. Whether you put them palm down on your thighs, whether you bring them up, whether you interlace your fingers, whatever works for you. There really is very few right or wrong things to do in yoga. It's just different for us all. So whenever you're ready, the invitation now is just to close your eyes and begin to settle into your body first of all. Remember, yoga means the union of the mind and the body. And we can't really settle the mind until the body is settled. So make sure you do feel comfortable. Make sure you feel that you're aligned, whatever position you're in. And maybe allow your body to make little adjustments until you feel that you can finally just relax. So if you're lying down, your body's going to be in a good alignment already. Gravity in the floor will do that for you. If we're seated, maybe not so much. You may need to make more adjustments. Drop the shoulders away from your ears. Bring the ears back so they're over your shoulders. If you're seated, imagine you've got a book on the top of your head. Keeping the jaw and the chin parallel to the floor. And just work through the body very gently. Do that little scan from the top of your head all the way down through the base of your skull, the jawline. Maybe begin to relax the facial muscles, softening down through vertebrae by vertebrae, rib by rib. Allow those shoulders to keep coming back if you're in a seated position. Draw the awareness from the shoulders right the way down to the fingertips, tips of your thumbs, palms of your hands. Just inviting your body to come to this place of calmness. Begin to notice the ribcage moving slightly, maybe with your breath. And soften down through the belly. We hold a lot of our anxiety in our belly. It can totally mess up our digestive system. And it just makes us feel a bit nauseous sometimes as well. So just try to find a place of softness there. Relax through the pelvic girdle, whether you're seated or lying down. And then again we send the softness from the hips all the way down through the thighs, the knees, the shins, the ankles, to the soles of the feet and the tips of your toes. So you're gradually giving your body permission to become calm, to become at rest, to become still. And for a lot of us, this will be the hardest thing you'll have to do, to be still. And then we notice where our mind is. Just notice. No judgment, remember. No criticism, just be curious. Does it feel like you're in the middle of a snow globe and somebody just picked it up and shaken it, and your thoughts are just swirling around just like those snowflakes would be? But we know that if we let that snow globe settle, then the snowflakes will also settle. So if we allow our body to settle and check in with our mind with all those thoughts, then maybe we can allow them to settle too. Sometimes it's more beneficial to just hit that slow motion button and maybe turn the volume down on those thoughts. Just beginning to ease the tension through the temples, the forehead, bridge of your nose, behind the eyes, around the eyes. Softening all of the facial muscles, the cheeks, the jaw. Maybe turn the corners of the mouth up just a little bit, just to notice how that just seems to lift everything up very gently. So we're trying to find the space between our thoughts. We're not emptying our mind, and we're really not trying to stop the flow of our thoughts, because we can no more stop the flow of our thoughts than we can stop the ocean coming in and out every day. We're just trying to find space. And as you notice these thoughts swirling around, maybe it's like being in the middle of a hurricane, then we can recognise that most of those thoughts to do with the past or to do with the future. It's almost impossible to have a thought about this moment right now. Some of those thoughts we need to remember, we need to remind ourselves perhaps to pick up something later, do shopping, take something out the freezer, phone somebody. So almost create a little kind of mental notice board almost, and just create little post-it notes of those thoughts. So we're kind of uncluttering our mind a little bit. Then maybe we notice how many of the thoughts are to do with other times in the past and the future. You know, the fears, anxieties that most of us have now, this bizarre times that we're in, regardless of anything else going on in our lives. Everyone is suffering with some form of stress or anxiety. There aren't many people that are just breezing casually through this pandemic and the restrictions and all the changing guidelines, etc. So we're invited to try to let go of some of those anxieties, which is really hard, super hard. But remember that lovely expression, to find the courage to change the things that we can, the serenity to accept the things we can't change, and the wisdom to know the difference. We like to think we're the driving seat of our lives, don't we? But we're really not. Sometimes we're just a backseat passenger. We can influence a bit our future. We can guide it. We can manipulate it a little bit sometimes. But you know what? We're really not in control. So if we maybe view our life as being like a movie, and as we look back, it's like we're halfway through the movie, let's say, for example. So we look back over the movie, we think, yeah, that was really good, I liked that part. Oh, I didn't like that part, that was a bit scary. Or I didn't get that, I have no idea what's going on then. And that may represent moments in our life. And they won't be the big moments, there'll be the little period of time where stuff wasn't going quite as we thought it would do. But it's all brought us to where we are now. And it's almost like we've put the pause button on that movie. And we could chat about how it was. Wow, that bit, yeah, that was fun, that bit, I liked it. And then we look to the future, the rest of the movie. And we may have a rough idea how the plot's going to go. We may have a rough idea the characters are going to come in and out of that movie. But we really don't know because we haven't watched it yet. We're not in the movie. We haven't experienced it yet. And that's a bit like our lives. And you know, sometimes at the end of the movie, sometimes you go, wow, there's a twist in the plot you weren't expecting. You go, wow, I didn't see that coming at all. Wow. And our life is like that. Things will happen in our life that we just don't see coming. And none of us know how long the rest of our movie is. None of us know when the credits are going to suddenly come up, naming all the main actors in the movie, just like we could the main important people in our lives. So we're invited to be in this moment, to not worry too much about the future because none of us knows what the future holds. To not live in our past because it's gone, it's done. We can't go back and unwind it. You can't go back and cut a bit out of that movie, delete certain people, perhaps maybe some of the actors in your movie of your life, you would prefer them not to come into it. You can't do that. It's all cool, it's good. It's brought us to this place right now. So this is where we intended to be. This moment, this breath, this body right now is the only time we experience it. And if we miss it, we've missed it. We can't remember how we felt. We can't remember that lovely taste of that coffee, that first cup of coffee maybe this morning. Or maybe the joy of following a new recipe and making something. These moments of joy don't have to be big. It could be having a phone call from somebody you weren't expecting, getting a message on Facebook, whatever it is. But if we're not in the moment, if we're too busy living in our past or looking to the future, we will miss it. So we're invited to be here now. And the only way we can do that is try to find room in those thoughts. So let's have a bit of uncluttering. Check out some of those thoughts that really don't do us any good anymore. It's not just the thought, it's the emotion that's attached to it. Everything in our memory, everything in our past has an attachment to an emotion. And you know that you can be talking to somebody on the phone and they say, do you remember when we did that night? And you'll both burst out laughing. There'll be just a key little word or phrase that you'll both fits of giggles, because you remember what a fun evening that was. You remember how funny it was. And so that emotion, that fun just comes up. And it's the same when we do our sad moments, the anger, everything is still attached to it. So we're invited to come into this moment right now, to be here, to find the space for you to just be. No worries about the future, no thoughts about it, no regrets about the past, just to be in this moment right now. How does that feel to be able to do that, even for a split second? Notice the calmness, the stillness. Just take a few moments here. It is a practice, being able to drop into that place. Some people can do it just at the click of their fingers. A lot of us really struggle with it. It's totally fun. But have a little go. See if you can stay there. Try to distance yourself from all the noises from outside, around you. Just be here. Make sure you switched your phone off so you're not going to get distracted by it. Dedicate this time. 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever time you've got. Dedicate this time for you. Draw your attention to your breath and notice if that helps you to drop into that place of stillness, silence, quietness, calmness. Remember, we're invited to be in the middle of the storm and not let it come into us. To take the time, take a few breaths before we respond to something that's been said to us so we don't react emotionally. Gives us the chance to look at something from a slightly different perspective, slightly more distant maybe, so we don't feel we're quite so involved. If your mind wanders, it's totally fine. Don't get frustrated, don't get annoyed. Just draw the attention back to your breath. Yoga is all about going within. Notice your lips slightly touching. Notice the sensation of the clothes on your body maybe, and then draw yourself back in. Here I am. Right now, this moment, this body, this breath, that's true, that's all there ever is. As always, the invitation is for you to stay here as long as you need to. If it doesn't work one day, it doesn't matter. Don't get annoyed, don't get frustrated. Find another 10 minutes, another 15 minutes in your day and drop in. Please let me know if you've enjoyed this little video, just a little snippet. Maybe it helps. I hope so. And please feel free, leave a comment, like, whatever you want to do underneath. And always, thank you so much. Namaste.